Hey everybody, Tom Stewart here. I am with Liz Trotter, and we're here today to talk to you about the ISSA show.
Woohoo! I'm excited.
And that's coming up week after next.
Oh my gosh, is it really that soon?
The education starts November 10, which is less than 2 weeks away by my calculations.
Oh
What
my
is that?
gosh.
Wednesday? Yeah, what is that?
Today's the 29th.
11 days, 12 days?
So, how many? 30 days this month, right?
31. Hey, come on. 31st
Halloween.
is Halloween.
Halloween. I was thinking November. Yeah, Halloween. Friday.
What's it going to be for Halloween this year?
I'm not. I'm here at Lisa Shaw's in Rochester, Michigan. And and I am leaving here on Halloween, so I'll be traveling. So I'm like, I can't do much with
Well,
mine.
come on, I know you got something squirreled away that you're going to wear.
I probably could. I don't right now, but I should, because I do love a costume. I do. And traveling with a costume would not be bad. Maybe I'll go as Lisa. We'll see. All right. What are you doing for Halloween, Tom?
I'm dressing up.
Are you really? What?
Are you?
What?
I'm getting soft. Are you familiar? Are you familiar with Monty Python and the Holy Grail?
This much. I've heard of it. I couldn't tell you what it is.
There's a character called Tim the Enchanter, and he's got like horns on his head and a beard and whatnot. And I'm going to be Tim.
Where are you going in this costume? I'm excited.
We just hand out candy. Janice and I sit in the driveway and we're just handing out candy to kids.
Do y'all have a lot? I guess that's a good neighborhood for candy. Actually, you guys probably have big candy bars and stuff, right?
Oh yeah, we hook them up.
Yeah,
it's worth the trip. It's worth the
we
trip.
have never had even one trick-or-treater at our house. We live in the Tulies. Not even one. Yeah. Well, I'm jealous that you're actually dressing up. I'm not doing anything. What's Janice going to be?
Another character in the Holy Grail is the witch, and the witch was actually just a person that they claimed to be a witch because they wanted to, and they have like a tin funnel on their head and a turnip for a nose.
I might need to see this.
Yes, she's going to be the witch.
All right, I might have to look at this. We'll see.
Hey, Beth. Yeah, we might have to post some pictures on Facebook. Who knows?
I agree. Pictures would be the way to go there. Yes, definitely get pictures. All right. Oh. So
wait a minute.
Cece's, she knows. Oh, that seems like a Cece thing, right up her alley there.
How do I copy this link and click on it?
I don't know.
We've got to look this up now. We're here to talk about something completely different, but
this is something that we can be doing while we are getting ready to talk about ISSA, which is coming in. What did we decide? 11 days, I think we said. 12, looks like 12 days. So starting on the 10th.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know who this is. Oh my gosh, you're wearing this costume? Did you buy it?
I put it together in pieces.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we definitely need to have pictures.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, that is really cool looking. I can't wait to see that costume. Are those ears right here coming off the?
Those are horns.
Coming off the jowls?
Oh no, that's.
Oh, I see. They're coming. They're spiraling.
They wrap around. They're like ram horns.
I gotcha. I couldn't see it for a second. I see it in the sideways picture. Is where you can really see it. All right. Well, yay for you having such fun things to do, but that is not going to compare to the fun that you're going to have at ISSA, Tom, right?
Yes. If you have never been to the ISSA show, and ARCSI became a partner with ISSA a number of years ago. It's ISSA Residential now, but there's a whole educational track just for residential cleaning at this show. And I have the privilege of being one of a number of people that are going to be presenting there. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But there's education, there's a trade show floor that's got vendors that there's so much going on in the larger cleaning space, just beyond house cleaning, that you learn stuff that you can take and bring back with you and use in your house cleaning business.
What are
Um,
some of the things that you know that you've taken away, Tom, from the show that you've used in your cleaning business?
you know, I'm trying to figure out when this was. I mean, I've been doing this show for about 25 years. I've been going to this show before
Wow.
we even started ARCSI, okay?
Oh,
And
wow.
about 25 years ago, I learned of this really fancy cleaning material that they were using to clean with. They called it microfiber, right?
Yeah.
And I met George Clark about 25 years ago at an ISSA convention. He's the guy who owns Perfect Clean, and he's still there. Jordan will be at the show, right? But this was before anybody was using microfiber because it was more expensive than cotton towels. But we learned about it. We learned how it worked. We learned how, from an infection control standpoint, it was so much better. And we learned that you could remove soil more efficiently. So we got some microfiber product from George. And this is like 25 years ago, okay?
Wow. I
And
don't think I knew they had it back then.
we did testing. We did testing with it. We're kind of nerds when it comes to that stuff. And we figured out that we could improve productivity at least 5%, sometimes twice that. We were looking at homes that we had cleaning times for, and we were looking at the cleaning times before and after with cotton versus microfiber. Same technician, same home, same everything. The only difference was the microfiber. We did a little bit of math. At the time, a microfiber towel was a couple bucks a pop. I mean, it's a lot cheaper now. And this is like 25 years ago when
That
a
was a
couple
lot of
bucks was a lot more. I don't know, what would that be, $5 today? Probably more than $5 today. It was a lot of money. But the labor would save more than paid for. And we started using, Perfect Clean and microfiber. It was over 20 years ago that we actually started using it in production, and we wouldn't have figured it out 20 years ago if it wasn't for this show.
right. I feel like there are a lot of things like that people get way in advance from going to the show, just because you're exposed to so much more. Right? You otherwise you're in your own little bubble, and you can find yourself just using the same old things that you've already used, but everything else is advancing. One of the things I always liked about the show is they show you the new products to use on the new surfaces and on the new things that are out there in the world. So I'm guessing that you've gotten more from than just your microfiber from that as well. Yeah.
Oh, certainly. Cleaning products have evolved, the cleaning agents. Um, we've done a lot of work with chemical-free cleaning and using dry steam vapor and, all the on-site engineered water solutions. We have a product called Annihilator. They're going to be there, where they just take basically salt water, and put electricity to it, and it breaks it out into hypochlorous acid, which is like a disinfectant, a sanitizer, and sodium hydroxide, which is like a degreaser, general purpose cleaner. It's basically what lye soap is made of. But you can make it on site with just basically you take
Water
a
and
big tub and you throw in rock salt and you throw some electricity in there, and it's really cool. And it's environmentally friendly, and it does a great job of cleaning. We did a lot of that back in COVID, and we were making the hypochlorous acid and giving it to all kinds of people because you remember you couldn't find
right.
sanitizers,
Yeah.
disinfectant, and that was when we thought it was more born, off of surfaces, fomites, I guess was the fancy term, as opposed to airborne. But anyway, we wouldn't have been doing any of that stuff if it wasn't for what we learned at ISSA. And it's not the typical stuff that you learn in the house cleaning world. It's the stuff that you find, for the people who clean in healthcare or do, large commercial spaces. The whole universe of cleaning is really, really big compared to the smaller subset of house cleaning. And there's something to be learned from all of that.
So, Tom, while you're talking, it's just occurring to me that a lot of people, they look up to you. They think of you as just very professional, like the epitome of what we're looking for in a professional company and professional management. That's just normal for how people look at you. And I'm wondering how much of this has to do with your continued participation at ISSA.
Well, I don't know if I'm worthy of all of that, but I've
That's
you
true.
know
I'm just telling you how people see you. That is
okay.
how it
Well,
is.
thank you. That's
Yeah.
yeah. It all starts there. It honestly does, because it's the contacts you make, it's the relationships you build, it's the things that you learn that you don't know what you don't know. And you go to ISSA, and it doesn't mean that you're going to learn everything that you need to learn, but at least it will open your eyes to what you don't know. And then you can take that and go with it and start learning what it is that you don't know. But if you don't know what you don't know, you don't even know where to start.
Yeah. You're not going to start. You're just not going to do anything different than what you've always been doing. All right. So have you taken any education? So one of the things that I like about ISSA, and I don't know that they've always done this, is at least now you can join up and go to the other ISSA courses as well. You don't just have to go and look at the education for ISSA-R, the residential. Have they always done that?
Yeah, they have. You can go to their website, and let me see. We don't need to be doing Monty Python anymore. If you just go to ISSA.com and click on the link that will take you to, basically it's ISSAshow.com, and this is where they have all the show stuff. And if you click on the conference agenda, it gives you a lot of information, show schedule. This is the education stuff, okay? So they've got different tracks. And if I click here, you can do business growth, which is just general business. It's not any specific vertical. It's not just residential or commercial. ISSA started out like 25 years ago. You had to be a distributor. Remember, we had Castle Supplies that evolved into Modern Cleaning. So we were a distributor before we got there, because we were a distributor. We couldn't have gone there as Castle Keepers, because 25 years ago, cleaning companies weren't even allowed to go. You had to be a manufacturer, a distributor, or what they call a manufacturer's rep, which is kind of a liaison between manufacturers and distributors. There's master distributors. It's a crazy thing, but they've got all kinds of education for like manufacturers and distributors and those guys too. But there's a lot to be learned in all of these different tracks, and I would highly recommend taking some time and studying what's going on in all these different tracks before actually
Oh, look,
decide how you want
Trent.
to spend your time.
Trent's on there doing his God mode.
Yeah, how
That'll
about
be
that?
fun. That'll be fun. So, Tom, so you're just now saying that you're recommending that people go and, dig deep into this and see all the different things that they could go to and see. Are you still participating in educational events outside of speaking?
You mean attending some of these?
Yeah.
Certainly,
Yeah.
I do. Not as much maybe as I have like going way back, because I'm there with Made Central now, and we've got a
Yeah.
lot of commitments and obligations associated with that. Um, Monday's all education though. Nothing's even going on in the trade show floor. So certainly on Monday I'll be hitting. I haven't really studied all of the options. You want to plan this out ahead of time too. I mean, there's a whole game plan. There's a whole nother discussion here in terms of how to get the most out of your visit. But you want to spend time on the website and see what education events are going on and kind of schedule this out. And you can sign up. You can get an account here, and you can when you register, they'll give you an account, and you can pick which events you want to see. And there's an app that you'll put on the phone that'll kind of keep your schedule straight, and it'll remind you when it's time to go. Because once you get there, things kind of get crazy, and you can even forget where you're supposed to be.
And it's hard to find things if you don't have the app, right? You can get there so much quicker if you do. So, all right, let's talk about real quick, since we're looking at all the different presentations. What is it? Oh, Karina's going to be there too. Chaos to Clarity. All right, interesting.
Does she still have a cleaning company?
I don't know. I'm going to guess, but she's showing up under business growth versus under residential too.
And she had a big commercial operation going on as well. From what I remember, she was doing government contracts.
Looks like it's going to be good.
She did smart business moves at least one time, right?
At least once, yeah. I want to say a couple of times, but I could be wrong there. All right, so we're looking at this. So why don't you tell us what you are speaking about, Tom? Can you pull up your presentation?
Let's see how this works here. Oops, I need to take that filter off and see what happens. Here we go.
There you are.
All right, we got one person registered. Way to go, Megan.
Hey, Megan.
Looking forward to this. We're going to rock. We're going to be talking about all customers are created equal, mastering customer lifetime value and customer segmentation.
All right, so you said all customers are created equal, but this is not all customers
are not created equal. We love all of our customers, but some more so than others.
So what exactly does this mean? If I have never heard of customer segmentation, what could I be expecting you to talk about here?
Okay, there's this whole body of work about it's called cohort analysis. And a good example of this is, like in Made Central, we calculate customer churn rate. What percentage of your recurring customers do you lose every month? And the simplest, most practical way to do that is, for any given month, how many recurring customers did you lose, and divide that by the average number of recurring customers that you had in that month, and that gives you a percentage. And you and I have been doing that for years. We've been teaching people how to do it.
Yep.
Made Central does that, that and a lot more, for you. But if you have that churn number, if your customer churn rate is 5% a month, then said another way, you take 1 divided by 0.05, that gives you 20. That's the number of months that your typical recurring customer stays with you. And if your typical recurring customer pays $200 a job, and they do 2 jobs a month, that's $400 a month. That's $8,000 of revenue a year. If your average, payroll to revenue is 50%, because I don't want to think too hard, that's $4,000 in gross profit that you can get off of every new recurring customer. And that's a valid way of looking at it for planning purposes. And if you know that, you can figure out, well, what do I want to pay per AdWords lead? How do I want to bid? And, you don't want to bid more than what value you're going to get out of it, but having those type of numbers can give you the confidence to bid more than maybe what you would otherwise.
You might be able to see the value better. Yeah.
But now the reality of that is, when you take your customers and look at how long have they been with me. So you take all of your customers that have been with you for less than 3 months, and out of that population, how many churned within that period of time, and how many have been with you from, say, 3 to 6 months, and what percentage of them have churned, and go all the way out. How many have been with us 2 years or longer, and what percentage of them had churned? As a rule, what you're going to see is that churn rate drops as time goes on. Because, intuitively, if you're going to lose a recurring customer, it's those first few cleanings where the risk is highest, right?
For sure.
So cohort analysis is a way of breaking that down in a way that can give you insight in terms of where are you losing your customers? What are the things that you need to be doing to reduce the chances of losing them? It gives you some better metrics in terms of how do we need to be spending our marketing money to get the ones that are going to be giving us the maximum value. The overall presentation is going to tell you or give you insight. I mean, we could spend days in a workshop just on this topic. And this is going to be a 1-hour presentation. It's going to be Tuesday, the 11th at
2:30
LA time, Pacific time. But you talk about culture, right? And you talk about like from a teammate perspective, from a cleaning professional perspective, how much of it has to do with who they are when they come in your organization, and how much of that has to do with the culture and how you train and work and develop them, right? It kind of works. But I would argue that the same thing applies to your customers, right? I mean, the relationship is different, but how you communicate with your customers, how you set expectations with your customers, how you frame up, what the value proposition is with your customers, has a lot to do with the lifetime value you can get from them.
Yeah.
How you market from your, it all starts with that, right? The whole expectation thing starts from, how you market. And, we're going to talk about that a little bit. And what does your website say? How you things that you put on your website can contribute to, getting your ideal customer and getting the ones that are going to be staying with you the longest. And if you're doing that, and if you're building your marketing around that and spending your marketing dollars in that way, you have an opportunity to get a better return on that, because you're going to be expanding the lifetime value of your customers.
So when you're talking about expanding the lifetime value, Tom, you're not just talking about how long they're going to be with you, but like how valuable they are to your company. So we're talking about the money that they're bringing.
How long they're going to be with you, and how much money they're going to be spending with you while they're there, relative to the cost that you're having to put into providing the service that you're providing to them.
All right. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Tom. What were you going to say?
Some things that some services you provide to customers have a much better margin than others, for instance.
So will you be talking about that too?
We're going to touch upon it. It's going to be an overview. Remember earlier we were talking about, there's a lot to be learned about a lot of the things. You don't know what you don't know, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of this discussion is to broaden your thinking on these are the broader perspective of who is your ideal customer, how do you want to, communicate with them, how do you set the expectation at the beginning, and what are the things that you need to do to expand the lifetime value of that ideal customer. And part of that is the whole cohort analysis of, customers that you get from referrals might have a higher lifetime value than customers that are responding to some direct mail piece or come in through, just normal SEO. Customers who live in one zone might have a better lifetime value than customers in another zone. How many customers are coming in just looking for one-time jobs? And is that really a good use of your time and treasure, your marketing dollars, as well as your team? Do you need to change the message and say, hey, I'm just looking to build long-term relationships with people who never want to clean their home again? And there's no right or wrong to some of this, but it is, the strategy part that goes into the communication and expectations that can, set you up to stack a lot of recurring revenue and spend your marketing dollars better.
So if you had to pin down like the top 3 takeaways that people are going to get from the presentation, or the benefits, the top 3 benefits, either one that they're going to get from going to your presentation, can you do that? Do you have an idea what those might be?
Yeah, well, being able to understand what customer lifetime value is, how to
Okay.
calculate it, why it's important, okay?
Okay.
How to take that and then go into some segmentation, some of the cohort analysis of, not all customers are created equal,
Yeah.
and being able to do that at a little more granular level. And how do I take that information and use it in my business to create more value? And like we said, it's the whole life cycle, starting with your marketing all the way through the sales process and the service delivery process and the ongoing maintenance and communication of that.
So I'm hearing that companies that go to your presentation, they are going to be more profitable. I'm hearing that. It's going to be easier profits because they are going to hold on to the correct people. And so they're going to be making money easier and for a longer period of time. Would that be accurate?
Yeah. And, you know, that we've been crunching a lot of numbers and been working really hard on this metric called consistency
Yeah.
within Made Central. And there's a correlation between technician turnover and customer churn. And the cause and effect of that, certainly can, be debated. But if you can extend just lower the churn rate for your customers, your technicians are going to have a more pleasurable experience because their schedules are going to be more consistent as well.
Yeah. People forget that piece, how important that is, right? Getting your, and we all know it too. Everybody knows that. What are the things that your employees say that they love about your job? Oh, my favorite customers, my favorite pets, right?
Mhm.
So you want them to be able to go to the jobs that they care about. I think we look at this idea a lot more with employees than with customers. I don't think I've heard really much conversation about doing this with customers, the segmentation, like I have with the employees, and how to, breaking them down. When do we lose them? Okay, what do we need to change so that we can extend the amount of time that we keep them? Not in our industry. I've heard it other places, but in our industry, people are talking more about employees, right?
It is half the equation.
Yeah.
You gotta have homes to clean and people to clean them, right?
Gotta have both. Yeah. I had another question. Oh, you're talking about this cohort. You're using the word cohort. If you had to define the word cohort, how would you do that? Do you have like a synonymous word, or because a lot of people have not really heard of that word before?
It's a segment of your overall customer base.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of different ways you can do it. You can do cohorts based on how long they've been with your company, just putting them in different buckets. The one
Yeah.
that's been with you 1 month, 2 month, 3 months, or you can do like 1 to 3 or 4 to 6, whatever. Those could be cohorts. If you have your service territory divided up into zones or zip codes, those
Those
all can be
cohorts.
cohorts. Marketing source, you could do marketing source. Did that person become a customer because of,
Google,
yeah.
Facebook. Okay. How about if customers refer you to other customers? Could that be a cohort?
Yeah, that's a marketing source.
Okay. So any of those different, okay. So there's just however you want to break them up so that you're looking at who your most valuable clients are, going to the point of not all customers are created equal, right?
You're only limited by your imagination. If you want to, try to segment your customers based on age or demographic or some of the psychographic type dimensions. Are they couple with a working couple with kids versus fill in the blank. There's a lot of different ways of just looking who are your best customers and what are all the different ways you can define them.
So Tom, you did say earlier on that you could talk about this literally for days, right? And not get to the end of it. Are you going to be available around for people to talk to more about this and get some more insight? Or is it kind of just come here, listen to the info, and then figure it out on your own? Use ChatGPT.
I am going to be at the show.
Oh yeah, you said you were going to be with
And
Mint Central.
for the duration. And on the trade show floor, we have a booth, and it is 4553. And
Wow,
starting
it's big.
Tuesday at 10 o'clock through Thursday at, when they close it down, 2 o'clock, I'm thinking.
Something like that, yeah.
If you wanna see me and chat more about this or anything else, the odds are really good that that's where you can find me. 4553 on the trade show floor.
All right. Anything else that you think people should know that
Yeah.
I might not have thought to ask?
Something really important.
Right.
If you haven't registered, register. I've already dropped the link in chat, and there is a discount code that you can use because you took the time to watch this discussion.
Yay. Good job,
And
you.
yes, and I'm putting this in chat as well.
Oh, I had another question real quick. Are you done with that piece, Tom? I did have another question I was thinking of.
Sure.
So when you were showing us the ISSA website and you went to your presentation and we saw that one person was actually registered, is that something that's useful for you to see who's registered? Should people register? Most people don't do that, right? They register for the
Most
show.
people don't.
Yeah, but they don't register for the speaker. Why might somebody do that? Why?
If you use the app and like create an account and do that, it will, and it
It'll
might give
remind
you
you.
the option to show, or you might have I don't know if you have an option to do it anonymously or not. That's
Yeah, don't know.
going back and forth, but it's through that process is how you do that. And I'm a
That's
big
how you get your reminders, right?
I'm
To
a big
go
fan
there.
of the app, and I'm a big fan of going through and looking at all the educational opportunities, before Monday, and kind of picking out the ones that you want to make sure that you don't miss, and register. You're not really registering, but you're using the app to say that I want to do this and I
Choose,
want to do that. Yeah.
right? Kind of like when you're going to Disneyland, right? Pick your stuff in advance so you can show up where you want to be on time and you get everything in. Otherwise, you are going to miss out on stuff. You're going to miss out on important stuff. You're going to hear people talking about things that they saw that you didn't even know about.
So if you haven't registered, the URL is already in chat. Use this code, and you can save 10%. And
Hey, Drew.
all right, Drew is in the house.
Yes. I'm sad that I will not be at this is the first time I haven't been since ARCSI began. So I'm sad that I won't be there.
But
Next,
you've got a legitimate.
yeah, I'm going to Maui, so I've got a thing that I'm doing. I'll have a good time.
You have to suck it up,
I
bite the
know,
bullet.
suffer. I have to suffer a little bit. Next year, though. Good to see you too, Drew. Well, what else should we tell people, Tom?
Make sure you register and attend, and come by and see the presentation Tuesday afternoon at 2:30, and come by the not only May Central booth. There's a lot of really cool vendors in the pavilion. I'll zoom out a little bit. I'm not sharing my screen, am I?
Not right now.
I can fix that.
I think also it's really you said multiple times, right? Figure out where you're going to go before Monday, right? Do that. I think that's a point to hit on really strongly because I've got myself caught in this as well, where I don't do the planning beforehand and then I'm just feeling buffeted by the show because there's just so much to do and so many people there to chat with, talk with, all of the um, networking that everybody does. You can easily miss out on some really important stuff that you might need.
Yeah. For instance, here's the overall trade show floor. If I zoom in over here, there's a subset called the ISSA Residential Pavilion. There will be somewhere in here every morning, there's going to be an event. And at 10 o'clock, there's going to be like drawings where vendors are like donating gifts and, all kinds of cool stuff that, you throw in a business card and they do drawings, and there's a ton of stuff that they give away every morning over here at 10 o'clock. And there's a bunch of people there who run house cleaning businesses. Some of them are going to be old friends. Some of them you're going to be meeting for the first time. I think it's Monday afternoon. They're doing roundtables, and roundtables is an opportunity to network. And how would you describe roundtables, Liz?
Well, I think that the value that people get out of roundtables is a lot more than just information, but I do think that the information is really valuable too. It's a chance to be able to talk with your peers about how they manage different issues and to be able to solve problems from a better place. It's not just you against the world. At the roundtables, you are going to hear lots of different people's perceptions of what the problem is and how they have solved it or not solved it. So if you get the resolution, you go in looking for the resolution, great. You walk away feeling like, huge win. If you go in and you're like, I don't think any of those resolutions will work for me, you still walk away with, yay, we're all in the same boat. Yeah. Everybody's got this problem, right?
It's not just me.
Yeah, and it hasn't just been solved yet. This isn't that I'm a bad business owner. This is a tough issue. I think that another really great thing that I have always loved about the roundtables is it's really quick way to talk about and hear about a lot of different topics from a real insider's view instead of just hearing about an overview of a topic. Like down into the nitty gritty of things with real business owners. I always love that piece. And lots of topics that I might not ever talk about just because they might not be on my radar. One year, I'm trying to remember what that one was. Can't remember now. They've had a ton of them. Drew, have you run a roundtable before? Just curious if you have. I know I've seen a lot of different marketing.
Yeah. If you haven't, we need to hook you up with Aaron and do it this year.
Yeah, and people would love to sit down with Drew. Yeah. He's so engaging,
if you're looking for a reason to go to this show, if for no other reason, if you're dealing with something and you're just thinking, it's just me, I'm the only one with this problem, come to Vegas in a couple of weeks. We'll lay that myth aside, and at least you'll get some insight. You might not leave with the exact answer, but you'll leave with some clarity in terms of how to get there.
I'm glad you said that one too, Tom, because that prompted this from me. If you have ideas, anybody that has like ideas about this is just how it is. I've got this problem, but it's just how it is. That's just part of the residential cleaning industry. I'd also really recommend going to the convention because a lot of things that people have said over the years that there's nothing you can do about that. That's just the way it is. Those were all ended up being myths. A lot of those ended up being myths. I remember when it wasn't possible to do phone quotes. That's just wasn't a thing, right? You remember?
Yeah.
You were like, it's not even possible. People were saying even as last year, I can remember hearing somebody say that it's not possible. I just don't believe it's possible for the customer to book, or a lead to book their quote, and then we just go out to clean sight unseen without seeing a house first. I've heard people say that still recently. That myth has been debunked a long time ago. People have been doing this very successfully for years now. So I think another really good thing to do is, if you think there's a problem, it's just, it's BAU. There's nothing you can do about it. Business as usual. And we got no options. Go to the convention. There might be somebody who is not having that problem. Lots of times we see that, right? Where business owners are like, yeah, I don't really have that problem at all.
And the
Find out
world
how.
changes, everything changes. And as things change, it creates challenges and it creates opportunities. And what you thought, you know, whatever the hurdles were and the problems were, and that may have been true a year ago, but it might be different now. And
It's been solved.
if it's not different now, it might be different 6 months from now. And there's some insight you can get today that can lead you to believe that in some cases, yeah, that might be different. I mean, one of the things that we've been spending a lot of time on is working with cleaning businesses on helping them move their merchant account fees from them paying it to getting their customers to pay it. And if you think about it, that's happening everywhere now, right?
For sure.
But we're not usually on the cutting edge in the house cleaning world to adopt those things. But if I've got a 10% profit margin and I can take 2% of revenue and put it back on the bottom line, I go from 10 to 12. That's a 20% improvement in profit. And I'm not even working any harder. I'm not even cleaning any more homes. And the reason I'm sharing that was, a couple of years from now, years ago, rather, we would have said that would never hunt. You could
No
never.
way. Never. People won't pay it.
Yeah.
That's what we would have said. People won't pay that. There's no way.
It's amazing. People don't bat an eye. They expect it. That's just the way the world is now.
Yeah. So flip side of that issue, where you have these issues or this head trash stuff that you think you can't get away from it, that is the way that it is, there's no way around it, go for that. But also go for the flip side, things that you never really even thought about for our industry. Yeah, you've heard about these things happening, but never occurred to you that this was going to impact our industry in any way, shape, or form. When you did what was that summit called, Tom, that you did?
Recently?
Not the recent one, but that one was good too.
Oh, you're talking about 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Disruptive Innovation Summit.
Yeah. That was the first time that I think a lot of people even started looking at our industry from a much wider view and more as a professional business, actually looking at outside threats and outside opportunities as well. Before that, so insular, the only threats we really saw in our industry was, if I'm going to be able to get that product at the Dollar Tree, right, in a week, are they going to discontinue it? But the opportunities are just so much bigger, and it's stuff that you just might not ever even think of in your own little world, in your own little city. So going and talking, I can't even imagine what the conversations this year are going to be around AI. They're going to be insane.
AI, and something that's really cool that you're going to see a lot of, and it just increases every year. And I was looking, I don't know how that got it parsed out. If you go here, you can see all the exhibitors that are going to be there.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see the trade show floor, but if you want to see who they are in detail, you can go through here. If you do this and just search for like the keyword robot, they have so many more vendors out there that are doing things with robotics. And okay, what does that mean in the house cleaning world? Well, today I don't know anybody that's doing a lot with robotics. Give it a few years, though. Give it a few years. I think that you're going to see things that's going to make you think. It's like, how far away are we until we can start using robotics in some form or fashion to function in the house cleaning world?
Yeah, for sure. I also think that along those exact same lines, you might be thinking, I don't care about that. I'm not going to use robots. That's just not, I live in a little tiny city, whatever your reasoning is. But I would argue that you still want to be on the front end of that knowledge because we just don't know where that's going to go. And if it is going to go that way in your city, do you want to be behind the times or in front of it? Do you want to be the one leading that charge, or do you want to be the one trying to catch up? And ISSA is a really good source for keeping you in the know about what you need to be in the know about.
Yeah, even if
Right.
you don't want to, even if you don't want to have anything to do with robots, and
Yeah.
that's legit. It's
Yeah.
I believe there's always going to be a segment of the market that's going to gravitate towards an analog world. And just like, I don't want a Kindle, I want to buy the book.
Yeah.
And I want real people cleaning my house. There's going to be a segment of the market that's always going to be there, but you need to know what you're competing against, and you need to know. The more you know about what's going on with things like robotics, the better off you are to differentiate your service in a way where you can create maximum value for the business model that you want to build and put forth.
And that's a really good point, that you can have your own decision about what business you want to put forth, not just what you think you have to do, what is, been pre-designed for you. Otherwise, you can easily fall into a trap of thinking this is the only chance. This is all I can do. Not true. We have so many options.
And that's going to be part of my discussion as well, because once you really start doing the segmentation, the cohort analysis, and kind of figuring out what's what and all these subsections of your larger potential market, you need to figure out where you're creating the most value and who your ideal customer is, and that's who you want to go after. You don't want to try to be everything to everybody. And it's like a restaurant that's got like 12 pages in the menu, and there's a lot of options, but none of it's particularly awesome, because it's you want to if you focus on one thing and do the heck out of it, I would argue for most of us will be more successful.
And easier for darn sure.
Yeah.
Right. So the only restaurant I know that has a huge menu like that most people would consider it's good and we like all the things on it is the Cheesecake Factory. Right. That menu is insane. And I've probably eaten something off of every page, but it's expensive for them to run that way. And it's definitely more complex. Right. The simpler, the better.
And the reality of it is, you can say, well, Amazon does a lot of different things, and you can find other, large publicly traded companies, but we're small businesses. We don't have
Micro.
the resources to be awesome at a large number of things. Not to say that it can't be done, but you got to be really good at one thing before you can be really good at a bunch of things.
Tom, I'm wondering so one of the advantages, I think, possibly, for having you speak on this topic is that you have a lot of data because of Made Central. So you're able to talk to, is this accurate, that you'd be able to talk to a lot of the different cohorts that you see and where some success is made? Not that you have the be all end all information, but I would think that you have. Yeah, it is live, Paul. Hey.
Hey, Paul.
But I would think that you have an advantage in that way that you'll be able to share with everyone.
There are some trends, but there's also a lot of variation within different markets, different business models. So,
Yeah.
where the trends apply on a broad sense, yeah, where there's a couple of instances where we'll be speaking to that. But just as importantly, just because it works really great in this particular market doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work really great in another market, because there's
Right.
differences between the markets.
Right. But there are some things like nobody is, or not nobody that I know of has really identified consistency as the really key metric that you have sort of figured out and found based on having a lot of different data, and you're able to really get people to have more success by focusing on this one thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. And to give credit where credit is due, Joe Walsh is the person
Leader of
who
that.
figured this out in his business, and he came to us, and it's like, okay, well, let's take a look at it. And the more that we looked at it, the more that the numbers were kind of bearing it out. It's like, holy cow, there's,
Wow.
all the missed opportunities for, years and years and years. Some of the things that we were doing were actually, that we thought were creating more value, were really eroding value.
Yeah.
Let's move these jobs around, reduce the drive time. We got to get every, last job on the board today. Yeah, it doesn't
Send a
matter.
new person to clean so that they can see anything that's been missed, so they don't get bored. People don't get bored cleaning the same old jobs. We thought we knew it all, right? Back then.
We can't send the same person back every time.
It's impossible. So that goes back to the same thing that I said earlier, right? That we think that if you think that there are some things that are the way that they are and you got no option, you can't change them, you probably need to go to ISSA and see what other people are doing. Oh, what you got there? Popping it up again.
Nope. I'm just
All right.
bouncing back here. So,
Oh, wait, one more thing, real quick. What's
okay.
the price? Because it's already so ridiculously inexpensive.
It's ridiculously inexpensive.
Ridiculously. I don't even want to try and say what the price is because it's so small. Like it doesn't even make sense half the time.
Let me see if I can.
So you're getting a 10% all access discount, not because it's going to be a ton of money, just FYI. You're getting it because some of you are like me. I just like a deal. When I'm getting a deal, I just want to do the thing. Right? And it's just fun to get a deal. Somebody tells me, hey, I love your shirt. You can invariably expect for me to say, oh, really? I got it on sale. I got it at wherever because I like to get a discount. So don't be expecting a chunk of change here because this stuff's cheap. Oh,
okay.
I can't even believe it when I'm looking at this again.
You want to get the all access pass because that gets you into all the education stuff.
For everything, not even for ISSA, right? Not just the ARCSI.
Yeah, every educational event that you saw, not just residential. If you're an ISSA member, it's $475.
And now $47.50 less with that discount code, right? So you are not going to find anything else that you're going to be able to do in the industry that is going to get you this well-rounded of an amount of information as what you're going to get here. And not just information, opportunities, just the people you meet. How many people cite as one of their very favorite things about going to the convention is the people that they meet, the networking.
It's the networking. It's building the relationships and maintaining the relationships. There's people that I see once a year. it's this event,
and love seeing them. Love seeing them once a year.
And it's also it's part about getting together with a group of like-minded people that are efforting to professionalize the industry. And just by attending, you're making a positive contribution, meaningful contribution towards that. And that's really, it's bigger than just what you learn yourself and what you do for your own business. You're helping a bunch of other stakeholders just by supporting the organization and the relationships you're building and the things that you're doing, you're creating value that you won't even realize when you get on the plane and go home. But somewhere down the road, something really awesome will happen, and it wouldn't have happened if it hadn't been for plugging in.
Do you know of anything that ISSA currently is doing? Like any of they always have a ton of really big initiatives, things that they're working on to really move the industry forward in a bigger way. Do you know any of those off the top of your head?
I probably should. I don't. I know that they're always actively
Practice it.
involved with political stuff. Do you know one?
I don't off the top of my head. That's why I was asking if you did.
They've got a number of certification programs. They've got there's all kinds of member benefits and stuff that you get.
Yeah,
If you haven't figured it out, you wanna register and become a member for ISSA. It's the most economical way to attend the convention, and you get a ton of extra benefits that go along with that. But they're active in basically changing legislation, laws, rules that affect our business. As part of that translates over into insurance and other things that affect cost and taxes.
Regulations.
Yeah, regulations and what's a critical service. A lot of value.
Yeah, bottom line is, I don't know any individual thing that is being done, but what I do know is that over the years, they have pushed everything forward so much more by all of these different initiatives.
We are at the top of the hour, Liz.
Wow, that went by fast.
I don't think we've done one of these in a while. This was fun.
Yeah, we haven't done one.
We might have to find another excuse to do one of these.
Do it again. Do it again. All right, everybody. Hope Tom gets to see you in Vegas this year. Everybody that's going, just bet $1 for me on a machine since I can't go to Vegas this year. Win some money too.
We will call this a wrap. Hope to see you in Vegas in a couple of weeks. Thanks for hanging with us, Liz. Thank you. Okay.
Thanks, Tom.
We'll see
Bye.
you down the road. Bye-bye.